These are the top 10 sneakers that you can find under retail right now. So I guess at this point it's become sort of a monthly series because this is the 4th time that we've done a video where we talk about the 10 best sneakers that you can find for under retail right now. And I'm not talking about bricks, I'm talking about relatively hyped up sneakers that people just haven't been buying on the resale market after they released, and because of that, the prices have dropped well below retail. In fact, in some cases, these shoes haven't even come out yet, and they're still on the list, which is wild. Now, in all these videos, I try not to repeat pairs of sneakers that I've already talked about in previous videos, which is actually not that hard because there are so many good sneakers going for under retail. And for most, if not all of the previous sneakers that I've talked about in other videos, they're still going for well under retail, and in some cases, even less than they were going for before. So because of that, I definitely recommend checking out my previous videos if you're looking to grab some new sneakers. They're all linked in the description below and somewhere on your screen throughout the video. And of course, if you want to grab any of the shoes that I talk about in today's video, I've made sure to link them through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen if you want to grab some great sneakers for some crazy prices. But with all of that being said, let's dive straight into the list with the honorable mentions. And the first honorable mention is the A Ma Maniére Air Jordan 4 While You Were Sleeping. I personally think this is one of the best sneaker releases of the entire year, so it blows my mind that right now a pair like this, which a year ago would have been going for like $300 over retail, is currently reselling for around retail. That's why it's an honorable mention in some sizes, and then in other sizes going for below retail. It's really a wild time that we're living in for Jordan fans right now, and I'm kind of all about it because it means you can grab amazing sneakers for pretty much retail. And what's even wilder is that certain people weren't buying this shoe on A Ma Maniére's website because the shipping price was high, so they were waiting a week to grab it on the sneakers app rather than buying it when it was sitting for retail on the actual website of the store that it was a collaboration with. That hasn't happened for years with hyped releases. People would buy a sneaker on whatever website and pay whatever the shipping is just to get the hype sneaker, because in most cases the resale price would be way higher than anything you'd ever have to pay for shipping. So to have a lot of people pass on this shoe on A Ma Maniére's website because the shipping price was too high is crazy. This is one of those shoes that if you buy it now for pretty much retail, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. The quality on this shoe is great, the colorway is great. It is technically a women's release, so the sizing is a little bit funky, but if you grab your size, at least your men's size, you should be totally good to go. I think the shoe fits true to size. And again, if you want to grab this shoe for yourself right now for pretty much retail, it's linked through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. But I don't know what the price is going to be like in 2 months. Will it go up? Will it go down? I really have no idea. The market's wild. My guess, and please don't buy a pair of sneakers based on my guess. My guess is that I think in a couple years it will go up in price pretty significantly, but it's not worth buying to sit on. I bought this shoe for myself because I really liked it and wanted to make some content on it on the channel. I also bought the A Ma Maniére 3s for myself, even though that shoe, again, has dropped in price dramatically. Again, because I like the shoe and I wanted to make some content on it. So buy a shoe if you like it, don't if you don't, but I think now is not a bad time to pick up the sneaker if you've been waiting to grab it. The next honorable mention is the Air Jordan 1 High Reimagined Black Toe. The situation surrounding the sneaker has made this shoe's release even more complicated than I think it really needed to be. So the shoe was supposed to release in, I believe, October for a retail price of 180 bucks. There were supposed to be a bunch of pairs available, and a couple weeks before the release, you could buy the pair for under retail in some cases, which is crazy for a super hyped up pair of Air Jordan 1s. But then Nike decided to push the release of this shoe back to 2025. We actually don't even know when the shoe is releasing in 2025, we just know that it is supposed to release now in 2025. And because of that, the resale price has gone up a little bit, but not by that much. You can find a pair of these black toe reimagined Air Jordan 1s, presumably months before they release, for like $200. Keep in mind, the last pair of black toe Air Jordan 1s that released were reselling 6 months ago for like $600, and this shoe is very similar to that shoe. And it's gonna be a very popular sneaker. I think even though Air Jordan 1s aren't as hyped up as they used to be, this shoe is still gonna be a shoe that people are gonna wanna pick up. I do think that it is going to sell out pretty much everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if you'd be able to find straggler pairs at certain retailers, but I think most retailers will sell out of this shoe, and I think the resale price of the shoe eventually will go up. But right now, before the shoe even releases, you can grab it for $20 over retail, which is mind-blowing to me. Obviously, that's why the shoe is an honorable mention and not actually on the list, because you can't, in most cases, buy it for under retail right now, but you can buy it for just above. And you'll have a fire pair of Air Jordan 1s that won't release for months. Finally, the last honorable mention is the Asics Gel 1130 in White Clay Canyon. Now, this shoe is an honorable mention because it's not going for under retail, but it is going for basically retail. And you might be saying to yourself, well, duh, the shoe is just a basic pair of Asics. I mean, it retails for $95 and it's selling for $99 on resale sites. But yo, this colorway has been incredibly difficult to find, even though Asics apparently has been restocking it here and there, this colorway has been exceedingly difficult to find anywhere. Like, I had to pay $200 for my pair on the resale market. If I just waited 3 months, I could have grabbed this pair now for retail. Now, I'm very quickly becoming a huge Asics fanboy. I've always kind of liked Asics, but it's never been like my main go-to sneaker. Recently though, I've been rocking Asics like almost every single day, and this pair of Gel 1130s in this exact colorway has been my go-to. And the Gel 1130 is one of those silhouettes that's become exceedingly popular. I don't know if it's because of the price point, if it's because of the design, if it's because of the colorways. I think it's a mixture of all three of those things, but this shoe is such a clean looking, very wearable, and very popular sneaker right now. The fact that you could find this exact shoe for that price, it's pretty wild. 3 months ago, I paid $200 for this shoe, and now it's going for $100 less. So if you want a pair of these, if you're willing to wait for the shoe to ship to you, it might be worth picking up. Number 10, the Salehi Bembury Crocs Pollux Juniper in the Tahini colorway. So the Salehi Bembury Crocs collaboration, partnership, whatever you want to call it, has produced some of the most hyped up pairs of Crocs of all time, outside of maybe the Lightning McQueens. And this particular shoe is the second colorway of one of the first Crocs sneakers ever made, the Salehi Bembury Crocs Pollux Junipers. And as someone who really likes this sneaker, and I own both colorways of this shoe, I've got to say, the Tahini colorway is incredibly wearable. Now sure, it looks wild. I'm gonna give you that. 100% it looks wild. It is also a pretty heavy shoe, but it's comfortable and probably no one else has it. If you're looking for that unique vibe and you want a pair of relatively hyped up Crocs, Salehi Bembury Crocs specifically, this is a great way to go, especially because the retail price of this shoe used to be 140 bucks. Well, still is, I guess, but you can grab pairs right now on the resale market for like $119, $20 under retail. The first colorway of this shoe is still reselling for like $100 over retail. So if you want to try out this wild pair of sneakers, the Crocs Pollux Junipers, the Tahini colorway is probably the cheapest way to do that. The shoe comes with the white TPU upper accented by this sort of yellowish midsole that features some sort of drop-in foam midsole, which is pretty comfortable underfoot, and all around, it's not the most traditional sneaker in the world, but it's definitely a shoe that feels good to rock all day. And seriously, if you've been into this sneaker for a while and maybe into the first colorway and you wanted to grab that colorway but couldn't because it's sold out, this is probably the way to go, especially because you can buy it for such an unbelievable price right now. I'll be honest though, I do prefer the guava colorway of this shoe over this colorway. The guava colorway is the first colorway, but this one's still not bad. Number 9, the Adidas AE1 Low Mural. Anthony Edwards has not only been having an incredible career in basketball, but also creating one of the most popular new sneaker silhouettes. The AE1 and the AE1 Low are one of Adidas's most popular pairs of basketball sneakers. The shoe has just caught fire, I think, for 2 reasons. One, because it's tied to Anthony Edwards and he's incredibly popular right now. And the other reason, or I guess the other 2 reasons being, it's a good basketball sneaker and it looks great. Now, out of all the AE1 Low colorways that have dropped so far, I think the Mural colorway has been the most hyped colorway. It's the one that got the most teasing and press, at least before it released. And now that the shoe is actually dropped, you can actually find pairs of these for under retail on places like StockX. For a while there, you could not buy pairs of Adidas AE1s. Like, it just wasn't possible. They'd sell out immediately. Now, you can pretty much walk into any Foot Locker and find a couple different colorways, but some of these colorways, man, they pop. Like this Mural colorway, this sort of pink and black, almost Miami vibe or South Beach vibe, it's just so clean. The sneaker originally retailed for $110, and now you can find this colorway, and honestly, other colorways for around $100 on resale sites. Seriously, if you haven't tried a pair of AE1s or even AE1 Lows and you play basketball or you just like wearing basketball sneakers, you gotta try them, they're sick. Number 8, the Nike Kobe 9 Elite Low Protro. For the last 4 or so years, pretty much since Kobe passed, Kobe sneakers have been almost impossible to grab for retail. And of course, there are a lot of reasons for that. 1, because Kobe passed. 2, because Nike just wasn't creating a lot of them. And 3, because when they did create them, they just made like 5 of them, so it was almost impossible to grab them. But now, finally, near the end of 2024, Nike is putting out a lot of Kobe sneakers, so it's easier to grab them for once, which is great if you play basketball in Kobe's, especially in these new Protro versions, which are better than the originals, or if you want to wear them casually, you can finally buy them for around retail in most cases. Now, this sneaker just recently released for a retail price of $210, and it comes in the all-white Halo colorway. It features large carbon fiber panels on the heel and towards the forefoot of the sneaker, and is a great all-around basketball sneaker, but also a shoe that I'm sure some people will rock casually. And personally, I much prefer the low-top version of the Kobe 9s over the Kobe 9 highs, just because I think it's easier to rock. I know there are people out there who like the high-top version because it's better for basketball, at least in their opinion. But no matter which way you lean, the fact of the matter is you can grab a new pair of Kobe's that just recently released for $210 for under retail right now on StockX. In this case, in a size 9, which is my true size, you can grab this shoe for $195. And actually, in some cases, you can grab it for cheaper than that. In the case of a size 8, you can grab it for $180. Now, to be fair, there are bigger sizes which are more expensive. For example, a size 13 goes for exactly retail, $210. The size 12.5 actually still goes for under retail $207, but then there are pairs like size 12 and size 11.5, which go for $10 over retail, $220. So not every size is gonna be under retail, but pretty much every size is gonna be around retail unless you're going for like a huge size 18. But I say all that to say that if you want a pair of Kobe's, now is the time to grab them because they're finally becoming reasonable to buy. And a pair like this, which is incredibly clean, to be able to buy this shoe for around retail in most cases and even under retail and other sizes like my size, is pretty great. Number 7, the Adidas Yeezy Foam Runner MX Granite. So while Adidas is no longer making any Yeezy sneakers, in fact, after I think next month, they're probably not gonna sell any more Yeezy sneakers, the Adidas Yeezy Foam Runner MX Granite is one of my favorite shoes that they've ever released. I don't know what it is, but I've always loved the Yeezy Foam Runner. Maybe it's the wild aesthetics, maybe it's the comfort, maybe it's the combination of both, I'm not sure. But the MX Granite colorway is so clean, it's like this marbled gray on gray look, and it's a pair of shoes that you can grab right now for 74 bucks. When it first released, it retailed for $90, and I think it actually re-released a couple times for $90, but resale was always around like $250, $300 for this colorway, and I guess for most of the Foam Runner colorways. But now, because I guess they're just not making the shoe anymore, there's just no more hype behind the sneaker anymore, you can grab it for $15 under retail. A pair of shoes which I still love. I still wear my Foam Runners here and there. And compared to the resale price that we were paying for this shoe like 2 years ago, $300, $400, it's a steal. And again, if you want to grab this colorway of the Foam Runners or any of the other Foam Runner colorways, YouTube shopping tab right there. Also, I should mention that Core and I are giving away another $200 StockX gift card, so if you want a chance to win that for yourself, make sure to click the link at the top of the description below and redeem your Core badge. You'll need all 4 of these Core badges from this set in order to be entered to win this StockX gift card, so make sure to download this Core badge, and also make sure to check out some of my previous videos in order to get the Core badges from those videos and the video I've got coming out later this week. Number 6, the Nike KD4 Aunt Pearl. This shoe is a retro of one of the most classic KD4 colorways of all time. It comes in hot pink, accented by the sort of pearlized heel counter area, and obviously is a memorial to KD's Aunt Pearl and releases during October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So the retail price of this shoe is $130, and right now you can grab pairs online for like $120. And sure, I understand that KD sneakers aren't as popular as they used to be because it's a style of basketball sneakers that people just don't really rock anymore, at least not casually, but still, a classic pair of sneakers like this, it's kind of wild to see it go for under retail. I mean, it was the same thing that we saw with the Nerfs last month when we talked about that shoe on this exact same video for last month. That shoe used to go for thousands of dollars, and now it's going for under retail as well. But again, same scenario. I get that that shoe is just not in style anymore, and I think that's the same case with this one. So if you want to grab a pair of classic KD sneakers for under retail, again, crazy, now's the time to do it. You can do it through the YouTube shopping tab right there. So if you want to grab a great ball shoe and also a decent casual sneaker, I'd say first of all, go up half a size if you're grabbing it casually. But if you're grabbing it for basketball, true to size is fine. I'd say pick it up. I think it's worth over retail personally. My favorite pair of KDs is actually the KD6 Aunt Pearl, so while I don't like this shoe as much, it's still up there for me. And you can grab it online right now on resale sites for under retail, so there you go. Number 5, the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Game Royal. This shoe hasn't even dropped yet. It doesn't even drop till the end of November, November 30th to be more specific, for 140 bucks. But even still, you can grab pairs of this ultra clean Air Jordan 1 colorway for 130 bucks, $10 under retail a month before it releases. So essentially this shoe is Chicago color blocking on a pair of OG Air Jordan 1 Lows, except instead of red, you've got blue, or more specifically, Game Royal. And I don't know if you guys remember, but like in 2014 or 15, they dropped the Game Royal ones. Maybe it was 2017? I don't remember when it was. But they dropped a pair of Game Royal ones. It didn't sell out, or at least if it did, it didn't resell for anything. But then 3 years later, it was reselling for like $700. Of course, that was because Air Jordan 1 hype was insane back then, but now you can grab the same exact shoe for under retail before it even drops in a low top variant, which is actually probably more popular than the high top. Shoes like this are absolutely wild to me. I would get it if the shoe had been out for a couple months, but the shoe hasn't even dropped, and it's such a clean colorway. You've even got a cream colored midsole or a sail midsole, which I know is not everyone's favorite thing, but I do think it adds to the look of this shoe. I don't know, I think it's a fire sneaker. It's blue, it's black, it's white, it's Chicago color blocking, and it's very clean and very wearable, especially for the winter, and it's going for under retail. Wild. Now to be fair, I haven't gotten a pair of these in hand, so I don't know if the materials are going to be worse than other Air Jordan 1 Lows, but I really doubt it. I'm sure it's going to be the same standard Jordan 1 leather that you usually have. And it's crazy to me that this shoe's going for so cheap. I definitely won't be surprised when these show up at the Nike outlet. Probably for more than they're selling for online, to be honest with you. Probably full retail, so it might still be worth just grabbing them for resale. Number 4, the Nike SB Dunk Low Trocadero Gardens. So I literally just found this shoe at the Nike outlets. A pair of sneakers that I just thought sold out, but apparently it didn't, or at least it didn't in all sizes. But even if a shoe doesn't fully sell out, it doesn't mean that it's not a good sneaker. This shoe is incredibly clean. The materials used on this sneaker are very premium feeling, at least. And this Trocadero Gardens Parisian themed colorway, this sort of light pink look, is very clean and very wearable. It's wild to see the drop off in Nike SB Dunk Low popularity. 6 months ago, these shoes were completely selling out. Nowadays, you can find pretty much every Nike SB Dunk Low that isn't a hyped up collaboration selling for under retail. And this shoe is a perfect example of that. It retailed for $125 and is now reselling for around $80 to $85. What a wild turn of events for such a clean pair of sneakers and a clean silhouette. The Nike SB Dunk Lows are awesome. I really like them a lot. And again, the materials on this shoe are surprisingly decent, even for $125. So for $85, I don't know, it's kind of a must grab. And seriously, online this shoe is cheaper than it is at the Nike outlet. So if you want a pair of these, just grab it online. You do have to pay fees and shipping and things like that, but even with that, it's still less than retail. Number 3, the Nike Dunk Low Silver Surfer. So this shoe is a pretty limited pair of Nike Dunk Lows themed after the Silver Surfer. That's why it comes in like metallic-ish silver. It's not really metallic silver, it's like satiny silver, but either way, it's a silver-ish shoe. In addition to the silver, you've got some blue accents on the Nike swoosh and some red on the heel and on the tongue, and it's a pretty popular pair of Nike Dunk Lows. I think that it did initially sell out when it first dropped, at least in some sizes. And surprisingly, it was more expensive than the Nike SB Dunk Lows that we just talked about. This shoe retailed for $135. But now, a couple months after release, you can find pairs of these in pretty much every size for around $85. That is a $50 discount on a pair of relatively hyped up Nike Dunk Lows. In fact, why don't we check out all of the sizes and their prices on this shoe, because a lot of you guys mentioned in the comments like, oh, my size is not actually cheaper, and in some cases that's true, but in this case, for this shoe, every size is around $80. Size 9.5, $82. Size 10, $85. Size 10.5, $88. Size 11, $85. Size 12, $90. Size 12.5, a rare size, $105. Size 15, $88. Size 14, $74, the cheapest one. This shoe is crazy cheap, and if you want to grab this shoe for yourself, link's right there. But also, I mean, I'd say pick it up now because I don't see it getting much cheaper than this. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it will, but you don't usually see Nike Dunk Lows going for under $70, do you? Like, I haven't seen that. At least not in good colorways. Number 2, the Air Jordan 1 Low Howard University. So this is a pair of sneakers whose colorway is based off of a PE shoe and is one of the more popular Air Jordan 1 Lows to drop this year. In fact, the YouTube short that I did on this shoe is one of my most popular YouTube shorts for the last couple months at least. And I didn't even realize people were that excited about this shoe. In fact, Nike didn't even really market that this shoe was dropping until like 2 weeks before it dropped. The shoe comes in Howard colors. You've got blue, white, and red, and of course you've got this really nice little mini Nike swoosh on the toe. However, it's not technically a Howard PE, obviously, because if it was, it'd be probably a lot more expensive. And color blocking wise, it's kind of like a black toe one, except instead of black, you've got blue. And when this shoe first dropped for $140, it was pretty difficult to get. Like, it wasn't available at most stores. In a lot of cases, you'd have to buy it from your local boutiques or maybe on the sneakers app or something like that. It wasn't at like every Foot Locker. It wasn't available all over the place. And I'm pretty sure it was relatively limited. But even with all of that, the hype, the fact that it was limited, the fact that it looks really good, the fact that it's based off of a PE and actually sold out, it's still reselling for well under retail. In fact, right now in my size, a size 9, it's going for $101 on StockX. In a size 8, it's going for $98. In a size 11, it's going for $108. All of these are basically $40 under retail for a shoe that, in my opinion, is ridiculously clean for a non-OG colorway. Now, I can't say that I was shocked to see this happen. I was shocked to see how popular this shoe was, and I guess after seeing that, I was surprised to see that it wasn't reselling for at least retail. But before the shoe dropped, like even a month before the shoe dropped, the resale price was like $200, $180, in some cases $150. So it kind of hovered around retail, which usually means that the shoe is probably not going to resell for anything. But in this case, I'm still kind of surprised to see that this shoe is going for that much under retail. I get if it was going for retail or slightly below, but $40 under retail is wild. Coming in at number 1, the Nike Zoom Vomero Supersonic. This shoe in this colorway has become one of my most worn pairs of sneakers of the entire year. In fact, I paid like $230 for this shoe. Granted, it was instant ship, but still, it was a lot more than retail. And the Supersonic colorway is by far one of the most popular Vomero 5 colorways out there. The shoe comes in a tan mesh upper accented by a tan midsole and of course tan accents throughout, but you've also got black accents on the toe and on the heel of the sneaker. But where this shoe really shines, literally, is the glow-in-the-dark midfoot cage and glow-in-the-dark accents. Accents which I literally didn't even know about until I got the shoe in hand and was wearing it at night one time. The midfoot cage of this shoe actually glows like a very bright blue when it glows in the dark. It's kind of wild. I literally didn't expect that, but I probably should have known because of the subtle hints that Nike leaves for you with the blue Vomero 5 text on the tongue and the blue insole. Also, these black lines on the toe, even though they look just like black lines in normal lighting, they actually reflect blue. So they're 3M or some sort of reflective material, and rather than glowing in some sort of white, they actually glow in a bright blue, which is pretty wild as well. Plus, Plus, the Nike Zoom Vomero 5 is one of the most comfortable lifestyle sneakers out there. It's incredibly popular right now. Of course, it's got that 2000s running sneaker vibe because it literally is a 2000s running sneaker, but it's one of those shoes that I think is relatively timeless. Sure, it might not be in the zeitgeist in 5 years from now, but I do think it's one of those sneakers you can throw on and still look fresh, at least for the next couple years, and enjoy it. And I just think the comfort level of this shoe is off the charts. Plus, the glowing in the dark was a nice surprise. All around, this colorway, A+. Now, because of all the special hits that they added to the sneaker, the retail price of this shoe was higher at $175. Usually Vomero 5s are $160, I think. But right now, you can find pairs in pretty much every size for around $130 to $150. And as someone who paid $230 for my pair, that sucks. But seriously, if you're looking for a pair of Vomero 5s and you don't have a specific colorway in your mind, I think you should go for this colorway. It's so clean, it's so wearable, it's got those cool accents, and of course you can grab a pair through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. But it's one of those shoes that just looks good with everything and it's very comfortable. Honestly, until I started researching for this video, I didn't even realize that this shoe was going for under retail. I thought there was no way that this shoe was going for under retail, but here we are, $135 for one of the best releases of, what year did it come out? Last year. One of the best releases of August of last year. But hey, that pretty much wraps up the list for today. If you made it to this point in the video, let me know in the comment section down below what your favorite sneaker pickup of the year has been so far. Again, if you guys want to grab any of the sneakers that I mentioned in today's video, I've linked them through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.